Good morning. Am I audible? Can I get an audio response?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. So, in this class, we start something new. Of course, we shall connect to DTFT, jet transform, certain things that we have already studied and looked at it uh, from system point of view as well as signal point of view. So we shall continue from where we left in lecture 2, where we discussed periodic sampling. So periodic sampling, and we understood that if the sampling rate is above Nyquist rate, okay, then with an appropriate filter, we can get the original signal, the signal that we were sampling, reconstructed fully. Of course, it required ideal filter. So that is what we had seen. So we shall continue from there. So just to connect to what we had discussed at that time and the notation that we had used, I shall show you some of those slides to for more just as a recap of what were there in lecture 2. These are not new slides, so we shall quickly pass through it just to get connected to where we left at that time, and also the notations that we have used so that we can continue with those notations, and we know what do they represent, their significance. Okay. So we had seen the periodic sampling, the basic concept, and the sampled signal over here we designated as x subscript t, where the continuous signal is xct, right? So, and if it is this is the sampler, okay, every t instant, capital T instant, we are taking one sample. And we had seen that the sampler, this ST, it can be represented in this manner. So so I hope all of you attended that class. If you have not, then you can, just go back to those if recordings are available still, or you can collect it from your friends or study the textbook. And then we looked at what is the frequency domain representation of this sampler. So we found that this is the frequency domain representation, and these omega s, capital omega represents analog domain and small omega represents digital domain, discrete time domain, a discrete domain. Okay. So that is the corresponding frequency values that we had noted. This capital omega s and capital T, they are related in this manner. And since sampled signal is multiplication of continuous time signal, analog signal, and sampler, so in frequency domain, it was a convolution operation. So this is the convolution operation that was performed. And because of this 2 pi and this 1 upon 2 pi, so they are cancelling out. So this is what we had seen. Then we looked at some of the, this kind of figures by which we wanted to understand how it looks like. So basically, this is your frequency domain representation of sampling signal sampler, and then sampled signal looks something like this, and this 1 upon t that is coming over here. And if it is Nyquist rate is maintained, so there is an original signal is band limited. This band limited, if sampling rate is maintained, then there is no overlap. If not maintained, there is overlap, and this is aliasing. Then we move to digital frequency domain representation. So in that case, we are representing it with omega. Once it is sampled and it is stored in the memory, we discussed it many times that it is now becoming a sequence, right? Time information is now notional. So it is only some data, some values that you are processing, sequence of numbers that you are processing. Okay, so in that sense, the concept of time need to be put again when you are converting it to time domain. Otherwise, whatever discrete time processing or digital signal processing that you are doing, time reference is not there. So in that case, the sequence of numbers when you process, then it becomes a representation that is related to discrete time Fourier transform, which is given by this expression. And this discrete time Fourier transform for xn, where xn is the sampled values of continuous time signal. So they are related like this. So this small omega is related with capital omega in this manner. So this is radian per second and this is second time. So together omega is radian. So further we looked at the corresponding representation of x, the sampled values, the sequences that are there, xn. So it would, in the digital domain, which was x e to the power j omega, now it is x e to the power j omega t, the sample version. It would look like this, and then corresponding representation in omega domain. So this was in capital omega domain, so small omega domain. This is the repetition that we will see, and the normalization that is happening, so omega s is 2 pi. Then we looked at some example where we had original continuous time signal, which is something like this, and then its sample version was repetition. Of course, 1 upon t factor is there, and then we had corresponding x e to the power j omega. So if you want to hear it from the master, Oppenheim himself, so this is available in the MIT archive. So you can look at, so in 2011, they had put it in a very orderly manner. So this, whatever you see, that whatever we have discussed, so he is following his own book, of course. And so it is good to see that how it is presented, and I believe you can learn a lot by hearing the a person like him. And more of that you can find out other lectures also, other than this one, that the sampling part of it. Okay, those things you can find out by series of lectures that are there. Is it fine? So now we shall go to today's topic that we want to discuss, the reconstruction part of it. Okay, just a quick query. Has anyone listened to any of these lectures, if not all? Oppenheim's own presentation. Is there anyone who could see any lecture? No. So I would suggest that you just listen to some of them, and if you like, you can listen to more of them. And in those days, you will see that there was no PowerPoint presentation, overhead projector. Overhead projector was there. He has used overhead projector occasionally, but mostly it is number of blackboards. I mean, it is in a big room where something is already written, or he is writing, mostly written, rest of the things he is writing. So how in that situation, when technology, that time technology was a bit, I would say not that advanced. So how he's handling a large class, and most of the things pre-written, few things here and there he's making changes, and how he's connecting to the students, I mean, you know, they are the best of the world that is coming there. So it would be, I believe, a good experience for all of you. Okay. Now we go to the new topic, new aspect of it, which is reconstruction. Okay. So we already have, if we look at it, let us consider a structure where we are not doing any digital signal processing. No processing is done. You have sampled the signal. This is the continuous time signal. This is the sampler. You have sampled it, and then you are just trying to get the reconstructed signal. Okay. So obviously, reconstructed signal you want in the form of a continuous, the original signal, right? But then if that is what is the requirement, then why you do all those sampling and reconstruction? So obviously, after the sampling, when it has been converted to a sequence of number, you would want to do some processing, and then after that, maybe removal of noise, maybe removal of another frequency which is interfering, whatever be the objective, whatever be the goal of that digital signal processing, then you would like to reconstruct back. Okay, so there will be another block over here. There will be another. Okay, I'm just coming out and then rejoining. This drawing becomes a bit difficult sometimes. Okay, over here, of course, it will go to some block which will do some processing, and then you would like to go for reconstruction, right? Otherwise, the whole part, there is no meaning. I mean, why are you doing all the stuff? But for the time being, we are not considering it for the time being. Okay, we would just we are looking at that it is sampled and then we're just reconstructing it. Okay, so this R subscript stands for reconstruction. So this is a reconstruction filter. Okay, so we already know that this reconstruction filter should be what it should be. Can you get audio response? If this is the argument and you want XRT to be like XCT, what kind of reconstruction filter do you want?
Low pass filter.
Low pass filter, right? Okay. What will be its cutoff frequency?
Fs by 2 can also.
Fs by 2, right? So Nyquist rate, whatever the sampling rate that you have used, okay. So it's just the half of it, right? Okay. So that is sufficient. Now this particular whatever that this is a frequency domain part of it, ideal filter. Let us begin with ideal filter only. Later on we shall see if it is deviating from ideality, then what will be the corresponding effect, that we can discuss later. So it will be that particular filter will be having a time in domain response in the form of HRT, right? You can get it by inverse transform, right? So this is the DTFT IDTFT pair. So you already know what is required, so you can calculate it the way you have calculated the rectangular kind of thing. Okay, so that one, so for del t you have got HRT, so for del t minus nt you will be having HR t minus nt. Okay, so this is your sampled signal. It's you can represent it in this manner also. So corresponding XRT can be written in this manner. Okay, so this is how the standard convolution relationship. Now we are looking at it that what would be the HRT, right? What would be the nature of HRT? So this is not in Oppenheim, but I think this is pretty, representative. So I'm using this one. So if you take any signal, okay, which is okay, where the HF is like this minus W2 plus W, right? So that is the total width is 2W, okay, and its height magnitude is say capital T, right? Then if you perform the inverse DTFT, then you will find that it is like this kind of function that you already have seen. Many such cases you have seen in this. Rectangular to sync to rectangular, that kind of conversion. And in that case, you will be having in the representation over here. This is what you see. This is what you see. This corresponds to the 1/2W, which corresponds to your capital T. So if you just look at it over here, so capital T is 1/2W. Okay. So this is another capital T. This is second zero crossing, third zero crossing, fourth zero crossing. Okay. So this is nature of this curve that you already have seen. Okay. So this is in a general relationship where it is minus W to plus W, 2W, and height is T. Now, when we look at our requirement and we convert it to our whatever we are discussing, then the corresponding representation we can convert just by applying these notations, the notations that we are using. So this is pi and this is T. So 2W is 1/T, right? So this is pi T by capital T. So this is 2W is 1/T. Okay. Sorry, 2W cancels out. So pi T and this capital T that is there. Okay. So that is over here. So this is your HRT, right? So your XT, the XT that you had seen before, after the reconstructed value, right? So basically we are talking about the reconstructed one. Is your this xn is nothing but your xnt, the samples that we are having, okay, and this HRT shifted by minus this nt depending on the value of n. So that is over here. So this t is t minus nt, this t is t minus nt. Okay. So this is the relationship that you will get. Okay. So there are two terms. One is called one of the original samples, the samples that we are having. Okay. And now the concept of time has been introduced. And the other one is, this is called interpolation function. So this is interpolation function. And this interpolation function, how does it affect? That we shall see in the next picture. Next slide. So you have to be a little bit patient with these two slides regarding the representation. So first one, just you pick up x0. Okay. So this x0, right? So this x0 relates to this n is equal to 0. Okay. N is equal to 0. So this is your x0 over here. And then over here, this is 0. So this is simple t and this is also this t, right? So you'll be having a sinc function, which is the main lobe, the central point is at 0. And what is its magnitude? x0. And this first point over here, this black line, if you follow, right? This is your first zero crossing is at t, second zero crossing is 2t, third zero crossing at this thing, 3t, 4t, etc. Similarly, the other side. So this is your first one, this x0 contributing to the interpolation activity that is there. Okay. Next is x1, n is equal to 1. So this will be t minus capital T, and this is also t minus capital T. So whatever the sinc function that you had seen here, what will happen? What will happen to that? Can I get a audio response? If I replace t by t minus capital T.
So it will get shifted, time shifted.
Right, shifted by capital T amount, isn't it? And multiplied by whatever the x1 value that has been stored in the memory, right? So that is what you will see here. So this is your x1, that is xt, corresponding to original the sampling, that sampler that you have used. Okay, and the central lobe is over here. So height of that central lobe, I mean the main lobe, is the x1 or xt. Okay. Similarly, it will be having its first zero crossing at from here capital T. So overall from 0 to T, and then 3T, 4T, etc. So this way you will be having all the n is equal to minus infinity to n is equal to plus infinity as per this convolution equation in place, right? And these are the different sinc functions that you will get. And when this is a summation, right? So this is a summation. So when you sum it up, you get the original reconstructed time domain signal. Okay, original reconstructed time domain signal, and as per theory, you'll get it absolutely intact. I mean, whatever it was, you will get exactly the same thing, right? Now, a few observations here that you can see that HRNT is 0 for n is equal to plus minus 1, plus minus 2, etc. Okay, what does it mean? That this one is 0 over here. This one is 0 over here. Similarly, if you are just talking about x1, so at capital T, this time point. So similarly, x2t, its contribution over is 0. x3t, its contribution over is 0 because the zero crossing is there. So at this nt, the value that you will get after summing up, because others are contributing 0, is the samples themselves. Only the in-between point, this value, this in-between point, okay, this is coming from summation of this one. Say if you are talking about this point, so whatever value is over here, then whatever value is over here, then whatever value this one provides, whatever value this one provides, whatever value this one provides. So you all sum it up, you'll get over here. So in between values, because now it is a continuous time signal which you are reconstructing. So between 0 to T, T to 2T, 2T to 3T. So this is coming from summation of these values where it is not 0, where it is offering some value plus or minus depending on how far the central lobe is, where it is. Okay, but at T's, NT's, others are contributing 0. So that is the meaning of it. So absolutely fine. So there is no such issue. Okay, that is what you will get. Reconstructed values at empties are exactly the same. Okay, in between one are generated through interpolation. So this one contributes over here. This one also contributes. Of course, the further it is, the contribution here, because it is diminishing in nature. You have seen that slowly this sinc function, as you go further, this values is diminishing, magnitude is diminishing. So the one which is very far has very less contribution here, these small values. Okay, right. So near order ones are having more contribution, right? So when you talk about the deviation from ideality, that you cannot have an ideal filter, or you cannot have these infinite number of samples being considered over here, right? So we know that there will be some error, reconstruction error, okay. But if you take the closer ones, then that will be having less effect. I mean tolerable effect also. So that is something that we shall see later. Is there any question on this? Up to this? Is it understood? Then can I get a quick audio response that it is understood? Of course, I shall leave the slides. It is understood. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So now if we are talking about this ideal reconstruction system kind of thing, okay. So I have got Xn. Xn is that sequence of those numbers that is stored in memory. Okay. Time information is not there. Now for reconstruction, which will be similar to your XCT. So we shall be using same sampling time, sampler, capital T, right? Otherwise, a different signal will come if you use a different kind of T, which is also something which you can think of later. We shall discuss. Okay, upsampling, downsampling. Also, those are another way of looking at thing or some other concept. So here we are only talking about reconstructing the original signal. So this is the T. So this is your Xn. Now you have to convert it to a sequence of impulse train, which is XST. Once you convert it to impulse train, it will be same as this one, right? You are presenting it before the reconstruction filter, the ideal reconstruction filter, at an interval of capital T. Bringing it from the memory, you are presenting it at an interval of capital T. And after that, you have this ideal reconstruction filter just now we discussed. Then what we'll get? We'll get the XRT. Okay. So this is your ideal reconstruction filter. Its block diagram. What is there inside? If somebody asks you or we ask you, then this is because you only have number stored as sequence in the memory. So then you have to say that this is what is it. And this is your digital to continuous converter, right? Which is, if you put together in a summary single block, notation, this is what you can use. So the meaning of it is that Xn becomes XRT, where the sequence 2 sampling sampled impulse train, sample train, that is done with a sampling interval of capital T. Okay, and then this is followed by a ideal reconstruction filter. Okay, so this is the meaning it carries. This D stroke C, digital to continuous converter, if you see in the book, then this is the meaning. And what is the meaning of each of these blocks that we have discussed before. Okay. Now, coming to the notations that we are using, we shall again look at it because, of course, we understand this Xn, the one will be a processed Xn. It is not the original XCT derived from that. So basically, something will be there in between as a DSP block, right? So we shall introduce it shortly. So before that, we again revisit the notations that we have used and try to align it with the understanding that we gained in this class before this. Okay, so this is your reconstructed signal, right? So this is your Xn is just a this sequences, so multiplier that are there. I mean that gets consumed in the convolution sum. So this T and this T, they are connecting each other in the time domain. and corresponding frequency domain. If you look at, so T to omega, so if it is a delayed version of it, you will be having from the DTFT property e to the power minus j omega, capital omega, T in part will come here. This you understand? So T to omega conversion. So n will not come into picture, isn't it? N is, so T is this n, this T, these are all, you know, the constant, and this n gets consumed. So this T to omega, that conversion you can see over here. Okay, and for HR T minus NT, it will be HR j omega, the Fourier transform, and the shifted version, so it will be minus j omega T n, that will come here. Is it understood? Can I get an audio response that this and this, the Fourier transform of it, using the Fourier transform shifting property, HRT related to HR j omega, then HRT minus NT will be HR j omega, it will be minus j omega Tn.
Sir, this is the continuous time Fourier transform, right?
Continuous time Fourier transform, yes.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Is it okay? HRT, HR j omega, then HRT minus NT is HR j omega into the power minus j omega Tn. Just you can, this is your from whatever you've studied before in math course or other courses. Otherwise, you can just submit into the basic equation and you'll see that it is like this. Fine. So we are here. Then this part, this is HR j omega, and this xn e to the power minus j omega Tn. Okay, this is your x e to the power j omega t from the definition that we have used before for DTFT. And here we have already noted that you have already told that this HR j omega, we would like to put it in such a manner that we are getting reconstructed signal back, for which its magnitude we would like to keep t, because there is a 1 upon t factor when you use the sampling and all. Cutoff frequency, of course, will be the fs by 2, that is pi by t here. And the relationship between capital omega and small omega, we have already noted to be linked in this manner. Okay, so now we shall look at its this thing in entirety. So this only 2 slides we shall discuss. This is very important, and then we shall stop. So now we are introducing this processing block. Okay. So this is the continuous time signal and this is the reconstructed signal. Earlier this processing block was not there. Whatever we had, you know, sampled, that was getting reconstructed. That part we have understood. So this is your continuous time to discrete time system, and discrete time to continuous time system you have already seen, right? But earlier x1 was submitted, now y1, xn was submitted, now yn is submitted, and yn is a processed version of xn. And this is processed by discrete time system with a DTFT relationship h to the power j omega. Okay. Now, so this xn is xcnt that we all know, and because this is the sampling period capital T. And x e to the power j omega, this is how it is related. You have already seen before. There is a factor of 1 upon and many such instances, right? Repetition. Okay. And over here, just if you look at this part of the block, this arrow sign. So YRT and YN, how are they related? So from the interpolation equation just now we discussed, but there we discussed for x. Now we are talking about y. Instead of x, we are talking about y. Okay. So this is the basic equation, right? And in this equation, we are using this HR j omega y e to the power j omega t, and to neutralize this capital T, we are writing a capital T over here, the magnitude we want to keep capital T, and the cutoff frequency, which is pi by t in omega domain, which is frequency domain fs by 2. Okay, for the so effectively what you are getting over here, whatever yn, right, it's just relating to whatever was here. So instead of x, we are writing y. Is it fine? Can I get a quick audio response?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I'm sorry, I'm a bit harding. This convocation rehearsal is there, and this time I, being a dean, I cannot avoid it. Every other year I kind of avoid it, but this time it is compulsory. So there is a rehearsal now. Anyway, going ahead. Now we would be connecting this xn and yn, right? And this is connected how? In this manner. This is the block. So y to the power j omega is h to the power j omega, x to the power j omega. Right. So this y e to the power j omega t, which was there over here, right, will be replaced by, because of this, h to the power j omega t and x to the power j omega t, and hr j omega is already there. So yr j omega, the deconstructed one, is nothing but h to the power j omega t, okay, the discrete time system that you have got, okay, and xc j omega, okay, from the previous relationship within this, okay. And overall, what you get in that case, yr j omega is h effective j omega we are talking about, xc j omega, where h effective j omega is defined in this manner, right. So the overall system, so this is continuous time to continuous time. If you look at it from here to here, this is continuous time, right? So this continuous time system overall, this is h effective. So basically we are talking about a continuous time input and a continuous time output. So this is your xct and this is your, say, yrt. You can give xt yt name also, and over here you have got h effective j omega. Because it is continuous time, it is now standard Fourier transform. This capital omega is continuous time domain. So what is this h effective j omega? So this is your h effective j omega. And what is this? This is h to the power j omega that we already know, where, which is defined by this discrete time system, right? And this reconstruction, etc., that puts this condition that this is within this this cutoff frequencies like this. Okay. So with this we end here. We shall start next class with an example. Start from this slide and with an example from here. Next class also I shall start from 9 o'clock only, and I shall discuss with you. If you can give me some free slot available to you for compensation. For some reason, this Wednesday also I cannot start at 8 o'clock. I shall start at 9 o'clock, and accordingly it will be scheduled. Okay. So thank you, and I'm stopping the recording now.
So could you upload today's slides?